Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all around the world, it's your boy Ali Mehdaoui, and I got the beautiful, amazing, incredible, fantastic, smart, genuine, beautiful, inside and out. I said beautiful twice. The amazing Dr. Andrea Givens, who's given us another blessing of a session here at the Global Impact. Please make sure you subscribe and be part of the conversation, because today we got a good one. This one is so good because most of the time we ignore it and we're like, it's nothing, but it leads to building up to bigger mental health circumstances, issues, and challenges. And it's usually the first little sign that we need to take a little bit of a break and reevaluate everything that we are. So we're going to be talking a whole lot about anxiety today. But before we get into today's topic, Dr. Andrea Givens, thank you so much for being in here. I know you could be doing a million and one things, but you've given me this time and I appreciate that.
Of course. I mean, I love talking to you all of the time. And we always are talking about something that is meaningful to me and meaningful to our organization. So I'm just excited. I'm excited.
Well, let's
And
get into it.
anxiety, I mean, yes, it's anxiety is a thing that happens with everyone at some point in
Yeah,
time. But the most important thing is, how do you control it when it happens?
I believe
And
that many
so,
of
and
us
what do you do?
I believe that many of us tend to have this dismissal of anxiety that it's really nothing, but it is a thing. It's not a nothing thing, right? Like, so first and foremost, understand
Mhm.
anxiety is you worrying about what could potentially happen in the future that doesn't exist right now, as much as trauma is you reliving something that is not happening right now just because it happened in the past. So it's certainly a mental thing, and we need to address it. Many national statistics are now more than ever uh, highlighting how there's a huge difference between pre-COVID and early post-COVID, and how the pandemic raised anxiety and depression immensely for many individuals, just for the simple fact that we gotten isolated, and that idea of isolation itself triggers many emotions that we didn't
Mhm.
even know that were there. And then you add to it the financial stress, you add to it the craziness of the last couple of years that we've had in so many different vantage points. I know that me and you have talking a lot about what post-pandemic has created for mental health issues. What have you seen over the years in terms of anxiety and its correlation to maybe the stress of the pandemic is still lingering around, and maybe that still is creating some of those anxiety issues?
One thing that I notice is that anxiety is more prevalent, because people didn't talk about it as much
Mm.
pre-pandemic as much as post. And so one thing that I'm noticing is that kids are talking about that they are becoming anxious about different things. And the things that they're being anxious about centers around things that they see on social media, and
Mhm.
trying to do certain things. And one other, when I was talking to some of our clients who are adults, around the holiday, they say they experience a lot of anxiety because just trying to figure out what that looks like for them. And so people experience lots of different um issues that causes them to, or triggers their anxious feeling. But it's all about, what do you do when it happens? And because it can affect, like, you have some that it's not as it doesn't happen as often, but then you have some where it actually affects their daily living. And so where medication is needed. And so, but what can we do prior to that, prior to prescribing medication? What does it look like? And what have you done to kind of circumvent those challenges that causes you to feel anxious? Because I know, there are certain moments in my life where anxiety has played a role, right? And I'm gonna be
Mhm.
totally honest, where you can't sleep, where you don't want to eat. And so, but me being a human, I know that I have to be able to sleep, I have to be able to eat. And so there's things that I've done over the past year just to help with like whenever I'm feeling anxious, because it's going to come up, but it's how you like
Yeah.
really remediate those feelings, you know.
And it's important to also highlight that anxiety is not a weakness or a flaw. It's truly a health condition. You know, just like
Mm-hmm.
hypertension, just like diabetes, anxiety disorder. It's truly a biological or even psychological real health issue that many times we're like, man, get over it. You're into your feelings, so whatever, right? There's stigmatization of that true uh, 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 circumstance or health issue and condition, if you will, and
Mm-hmm.
then we don't even realize that treatment actually exists. And to your point, we tend to even,
Yes.
assume that I just gotta get a drink and go to sleep, or I assume I just gotta take a pill, or assume I just gotta smoke something, but there is appropriate treatments from
Mm-hmm.
psychotherapy to behavioral interventions to lifestyle changes. And thankfully, and thank God, Global Impact Wellness, the care you can trust, helps with all of the above. Why don't you kind of help us a little bit on, what is provided from Global Impact Wellness in terms of some of the treatments for anxiety?
Well, just like you said, with different types of therapies, one looking at CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. There are different variations of therapy that can be applicable to those who are experiencing anxiety. But the one thing about it, and you said something that was so key. A lot of people feel like, oh, if I get a drink or
Mhm.
nicotine or alcohol, or other illicit drugs that will help, but the only thing that does is heightens it. You may feel good for half a second, but then once you come down off of all of those substances, those things still persist. And so it is so very important that if you need to talk to someone, right? Because at Global Impact Wellness Group, the one thing that you said that I love is the care you can trust. It is important that you seek assistance, and that assistance may look different. It looks different for everyone. It's not like a cookie cutter approach. It's not a one size fits all, but it's like, what are you experiencing, and what are some strategies that we can put in place? I remember when I was having an anxious moment, and I was talking to someone, and they said, well, you need to deal in the present. You think about three things that you see, three things that you smell, and three things that you hear, right then and there. And I'm telling you, just doing that kind of got my mind focused on something else. And it did not have me feeling anxious. And so it's like little things. Like you said, no one has to just right away get a pill. But there are other things that you can do to circumvent those challenges. And that's what it's about, is finding that right thing for you so that you can live life normally, because feeling anxious on a daily basis is not normal, and then not doing something about it always causes a domino effect in something else, whether it's your health, because you're not eating right, your nutrition is off, and you're not sleeping. And so those are important factors when we are talking about, like, really figuring out what that looks like for you and getting yourself together.
I just want to say to you that sometimes when life show up and we feel depressed, we angry, we frustrated, we confused, we having suicidal thoughts, we dealing with mental health issues, challenges, and demons. I want you to know that I've been there. I'm that person. I had them issues. I had them challenges. I went through all of those struggles, man, to try to get my mind clear, get my spirit right, get my heart right, man, get focused back on life. And it took me having to go to treatment, man. I had to go away to treatment where I went to groups, and I went to counseling, and I went to therapy. I went to mental health counseling. I had a psychologist. I took medication, because at one time, man, suicide seemed like the opportune way to fix the mess that I had made in my life. But because I heard someone say that treatment is available and that treatment worked, that I gave it a shot, man. I gave it a chance, and I decided to go into a treatment facility, man, where some people was able to love me until I learned how to love myself. And through that, man, I went to school. I got educated about the disease of addiction, about mental health. And now I stand here today, and I want to let you know that I am you. And I stand here today, man, and I am so proud to be a part of the solution and not the problem. I'm helping people here at Global Impact Wellness Group, man, transition their lives, become whole and well once again. It's a beautiful thing. Treatment work, treatment is available. If you're struggling with anything, give us a call here at Global. We got you.
Yeah, without a doubt. The other thing, and I think this is where the stigma plus ignorance leads to the wrong decision making. There is normal anxiety, and what I mean by normal, like, look, anxiety is a good thing. It tells you where the edge is, right? It tells you, like, don't step there. There's fire, right? Like that's good. It alerts us to danger, right? But at the same
Right.
exact time, it's important to understand that it could become chronic or excessive, or even out of proportion. And that's why you need to reach out to a professional to identify, like, hey, am I just in my feelings about something that I need to address? Or is there something more to this? And there are symptoms to identify, right? Like persistent worry, restlessness, like you said, sometimes not sleeping, right? Fatigue, disturbance, concentration difficulty, and so much more. But without a professional, without a global impact wellness, please visit the website and talking to somebody and saying, hey, I just need to do a quick evaluation and analysis, if you will. How would you know if it is quote unquote normal anxiety or something that is chronic or excessive? How do we identify, like, at what point should somebody pick up that phone or go to the website and do an evaluation?
If it is preventing you from your daily task, and it persists where you are not getting the accurate amount of sleep that you need per day, and that your nutrition is off, and that you're not getting things done. You know that you're supposed to be at work today and you're not there, right? Or you know that you were supposed to do X, Y, and Z and you haven't done it. And so it's important to figure out the why. And so sometimes we cannot get that why from ourselves. We need trained professionals that will elicit the why and assist us with the why. And so that's when you need to go to globalimpactwellness.com and fill out the inquiry form so that we can assist. Because it's all about, I always say, if you're not being productive in your everyday life, if you're not getting things done that actually need to be done, then that is when you need to um come see us. Like, come see us. Come see
Yeah.
us. And that's important.
Dr. G, one of the things that is obviously, I try to prepare every single time before we meet and study a little bit, and from a root cause or the risk factors. And there's multi factors that are at play in here, and I understood, had basic understanding, if you will, that sometimes it's from societal pressure. Like, where I grew up, if you're not married by the age of 25, and if you don't have money already put away and all that stuff, like, everyone is put in. I mean, even here in the United States, it's like, when are you going to get married? When are you going to have kids? When are you going to have a career? And there's that anxiety that's building up, right? The life stressors, as they call them. But what I did not know and didn't understand, that it actually could be genetic. It could be from family history passed on.
Yes.
And that was fascinating to me, because, again, our non-professional understanding of anxiety is, I'm worried about a bill, I'm worried about something like that I am experiencing. But how is it genetic? How is that anxiety passed on, genetically speaking, from my mom or my dad or even prior generations? Help us understand.
So when you're talking about like parents and you're living with them, and a lot of things, they language their anxious feelings out loud, and you've seen them at an anxious or a vulnerable moment. And so because they are with you, and like our parents, they provide us with so much, right? And we become a magnet to like their words and their emotions and their feelings, and that stuff becomes to me, it becomes, like you said, hereditary, genetic, because you're talking that language. It's like where you're always in an anxious mode. And so that stuff, if you're in a household like that, and that's what you've experienced when you were growing up, or every time you go out or you see like those play out, and not only in your immediate family, but it plays out in other family members when you're around them, then that becomes just like contagious to me. And so other people pick up on that, and they start adapting those same types of behaviors and things that they think that will cause them to feel anxious. And it becomes something that you pour on to kids. And it's just like being around someone that is toxic, right? And if you're around them long enough, what will happen? Some of those toxic traits may wear off on you. Well, it's the same thing with anxiety, and it may not have anything, that child may not even have anything to do with what you're feeling anxious about, but you're pouring on to them. And then they start to feel that, because then like as a child, I would worry, if that were the case for me, I would worry if my mother or father came to me with something that was made them feel anxious. So it becomes, like I always say, what you focus on will illuminate, and so if
Mm.
that is the way that you are holding conversations, and those are the things that you're talking about with the people that you love, sometimes those things can actually infiltrate their system, and that's all they talk about. And so and I believe that. I wholeheartedly believe that sometimes that happens. And
Yeah.
especially now, with
I was
like
just gonna say,
kids are
especially now.
just, yeah, they have to be exposed to so much. Whereas I remember when I was growing up, I wasn't exposed to half of the things that the kids are exposed to now. And so it's different. Different things are
Yeah.
shared. And didn't you remember when we didn't sit at the grown-up table? We weren't around grown-up
Hmm.
conversations, and so it's different.
It's almost
Kids
impossible
know it
now.
all. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, they know it all.
Hmm. So let's talk about the relevance of at least the awareness of the levels of anxiety and where you are, right? And again, we highlight for everybody. Again, I'm personally not a professional doctor. Andrea Givens is the executive director of Global Impact Wellness. So go to globalimpactwellness.com. There are resources, information, blogs, podcast episodes, and of course phone
Yeah.
numbers and direct forms that you can talk to an actual professional and get an evaluation if you need to, not only for
Mhm.
anxiety or anything mental health or even substance abuse disorder, but post-COVID disruption, ongoing economic uncertainty since then, global crisis. You see, just put, I don't care what your political affiliations or what way you lean, you put, liberal or conservative media, it's the good news doesn't sell, right? So it's like everything is bad.
Mhm.
We are all dying. It's like, oh my God, like why did I turn on the TV, right? So
Right.
that intensifies the level of stress. But with that, if we increase our level of awareness, we will have the ability and the opportunity to understand how to address our level of anxiety, or at least normalizing the fact that I'm not broken. I'm just dealing with something that I have to address.
Yes.
And I'm sure
Mhm.
you could also highlight that there are new technologies, new modalities that are available that the individual can deal with whatever needs to be dealt with in a very short period of time before it escalates into a real issue.
Are you the type of agency that has clients that you really want them to have that extra support? But in having that extra support, you're worried about paperwork, you're worried about the responsibilities of a communication. Well, at Global Impact Wellness Group, you do not have to worry about that, because we take all of the paperwork, all of the hassle, all of the communication challenges out of the way. Please, if you have clients, please give us a call.
Yes, yes. And the one thing that, like, I really want to say to people now, um, if we look at where we are as a country and we have this shutdown, one thing that I do know is that this is causing a lot of people to be anxious, right?
Mhm.
people don't know. Some people don't know when they. A lot of people don't know when the next check is coming through. Some people are. I have friends that have to work and not get paid.
Yeah.
And not know if you're getting paid. And so a lot of anxious feelings are just floating around this country now. And so if you are feeling like those types of anxieties, please reach out to someone. I want you to reach out to Global Impact Wellness, but if you are not in the area and you're listening to this podcast and somewhere else, just please still reach out to us, because we can provide you or find you resources that can help you, because it is a lot. I just got off the phone with someone earlier today that is going through this, and she is feeling super anxious. And it was like interesting when we said that this was going to be our topic for today. And I'm like, real life stories are just being developed now. But
Yeah.
it's up to us that we really help the masses, because there is help. And so, like you said, there's levels to this, right?
Mhm.
But when you get to the level where it is really impacting your daily activity, then that's when you really need to reach out. But then in the meantime, in between time, like when you talked about people experience anxiety from past trauma, something that has happened in the past, or something that futuristic that they feel like is getting ready to happen, right? And so how can we deal in the now? What can we do to help, the clients right now? And I know that, people don't have all of the answers, but when you sit down and actually talk to a professional, they can guide you. And I don't want, like I always say, that therapy is not a dirty word, right?
No.
And it doesn't mean that just because you go to therapy that they're going to prescribe you medication right away. It doesn't work like that, right? And we are like, that's the last resort. And so there are going to, like, I just wanted to bring that up, that now there are a lot of people feeling anxious, and rightfully so. But now how you deal with those anxious feelings is what we really need to focus on, because we don't want that because anxiety can cause people to lose their life, and we don't
Yeah.
want that to happen.
And just heads up to every single individual that may just be dismissing. If you don't handle it, and I'm speaking from experience, there are consequences.
Mhm.
In layman's term, in the simplest format possible, you will snap one day. You
Mhm.
something just snaps, and it happened to me. That was me 3 years ago, where everything
Mhm.
just, when I say everything just tightened up, and I just snapped. And in that moment, my beautiful little son Sebastian, who's sitting upstairs looking from the corner of the stairs, saw me in the most angry moment, angry at myself, angry at many things that I allowed to happen. And so much so that I walked out, and just needed fresh air. And so I come back in, and the first thing that kicks my head, I remember when I saw my father, who was very, very angry with the heavy bottle. Thank God I don't have those issues. And I went upstairs, apologized for him, and to him. And that was the day that I decided to, hey, I need some therapy in here. I need to figure out what just happened. So,
Mhm.
you don't want to
Mhm.
wait until you impair your quality of life. You don't want to wait until anxiety turns into depression or substance abuse or physical health
Yes.
issues. You don't want to wait to
Yeah.
escalate to panic attacks, because I dealt with those as well, or economic
Mhm.
costs, because if it gets worse and now you can't work, or you're spending money on things that are
Yes.
treatment and needed, it's almost that now it's too late, so it doesn't hurt.
Mhm.
Just pick up the phone and say, I'm feeling some type of way, and I need to address it now before it gets worse.
Yeah.
And I think you've seen many of those cases in Global Impact Wellness Group.
Yes. And that's why, like, we are very, like, cognizant about conversations that clients have that maybe are a little alarming. And we have a fabulous clinical director that just circumvents that, and she makes everything better. She's like, oh, I'm reaching out now, because it's a serious issue. People are committing suicide, they're harming others. And so it is important that when individuals talk about them being anxious, or they talk about the anxiety feeling that is impacting their everyday life, it is important to make sure that you reach out to a professional to help guide you. And so that's just like my number one thing. Like, we
Yeah.
can't do everything by ourselves. Some things you need assistance with, and you need assistance from someone who is a licensed professional.
Dr. G, as we're coming towards the bottom half of, or almost actually the end of the episode, I'm gonna fire a few things at you, and I want to try to see if I can get some quick answers on it. The tools for or to deal with anxiety, there are evidence based. It's not a just let's see and feel about it. There is actual evidence that we can address anxiety and deal with it and control it. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Many people state
There are
that
definitely
I gotta,
tools.
many people state that I'll be ready when I'm ready for treatment. What is your quick answer to, like, deal with it now instead of assuming, or from the ignorance based thinking, you don't know when you're ready because you don't know how you got here. Like, what is that quick answer to that?
My quick answer is, think about all the things you could have been doing more with your life, and this thing has plagued you and you have not fixed it. Please seek therapy, seek assistance, because it can help better your daily living experiences. And that's what it's about. The quality of life that you live on a daily basis can increase to the next level if you just fix some things that are going on within your life. It's no harm and no foul. It's just
Yeah.
something. Everyone experiences things like this in life if you live long enough.
Yeah. True or false, early intervention is more effective.
Yes, true. It
Would you
is.
say that the care you can trust within Global Impact Wellness Group has tailored holistic options and flexible as well?
Yes, very, very, because, and when you say tailored, you could be in person, you can be virtual, and so we really scaffold supports based upon what is needed, because some people just need to be in person, and they need to have that eye contact, and that those they need to see more. Um and so I think that when we talk about care you can trust, I really, 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 I would take that to my grave. That's how we really operate. We really look at the individual, and we scaffold supports based upon the people or the clients that are in front of us. And so that's important. And it's holistic. It's not a cookie cutter approach.
Yeah, and there's many ways to deal with many things. So definitely, please make sure that you visit globalimpactwellness.com. Please make sure you fill out a form. It could be cognitive behavior. It could be just acceptance, and and something you've dealt with in the past. It could be just exposure to the wrong things and the wrong people. It could be, trauma. It could be so many different things. But how would you know? It's like when something hurt, you don't know until you go to the doctor, and then you get diagnosed and the doctor tells you, here is what you need to do about it. Well, it's the same exact thing. So please make sure that you do visit globalimpactwellness.com. And Dr. Andrea, as always, I'm grateful that you educate and help me out understand every single day. And I walk away, I feel like I have the best seat in the house, because I get treatment while I'm with you for things that I don't even know that I needed to be worked on. But your final remarks before we wrap it up for today's episode.
Just know that anxiety is something that can be fixed, right? It's not a life sentence. It's not a lifer. But there are things that strategies that can be put in place. There are different types of therapies that can be put in place so that you are not impacted in your everyday life. Life is about living and living it on purpose. And if you can't live it on purpose, then it is important that you figure out what is the challenge so that you can live it on purpose. And if you can't figure it out, guess what? You can reach out to Global Impact Wellness Group and we will assist you in figuring out. We have awesome partners. Our clinical director is second to none. We have wonderful therapists and counselors that can help you navigate through life's challenges. So I urge you not to let this take over you, but for you to get on top of it and get the assistance that you need.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen, another successful episode of Global Impact. Make sure that you connect, make sure you subscribe, make sure you follow wherever platform you are watching this. We do monitor comments and answer them, so please make sure if you have any questions, just drop it in the comments or just make sure that you visit globalimpactwellness.com. My name is Ali Mehdaoui. She is the amazing Dr. Andrea Givens. Until next time, have a blessed day, everybody.
Take care.
Let's be honest. Hormonal changes can feel like a roller coaster. Mood swings, hot flashes, feeling off, even when everything seems fine. That's why we created Fleur, a plant-powered daily supplement designed to support women through every stage of hormonal change. Fleur is more than a supplement. It's a daily formula crafted to help you glow, not just cope. It supports healthy hormone balance, eases occasional mood swings, and helps reduce hot flashes. You'll also get support for your metabolism, all in one convenient product. Whether you're entering perimenopause, navigating menopause, or just wanting better balance, Fleur meets you where you are. Let's talk about what's inside, because every ingredient serves a purpose. Maca root and ashwagandha help support energy, stress resilience, and mood. Red clover and black cohosh are traditionally used to ease hot flashes. Magnesium glycinate helps support calmness, rest, and muscle relaxation. Flaxseed, evening primrose, and sage help maintain hormonal balance and skin health. And bioperine enhances nutrient absorption for maximum benefit. Plus, Fleur includes a variety of other powerful botanicals like wild yam, dong quai, grapeseed, dim, and more, all working together to support your body naturally. It's all plant-based, thoughtfully formulated, and rooted in natural support. Thousands of women are already making the shift and choosing to feel balanced, beautiful, and unbothered. Ready to glow through the change? Ask about Fleur today and experience the difference for yourself.